All right, Chris, the Baylor Bears. This has been a weird season for them. Talk a little bit about their offense. How'd they do this year, Chris?
Yeah, rough year for Dave Aranda and the Bears, man. I mean, that's all I'm going to start that out with. They finished 3-9. Vegas had them at 8 this year, by the way. Baylor did have some talent on that team. Blake Shapen, Sawyer Robinson played okay, I guess, in quotations, with a combined 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this season. But they couldn't run the ball either, though. That was a problem for Baylor week in and week out. They only averaged 114 yards per game on the ground, which was bottom 25th in the country. Even bigger problem was the pass blocking. They allowed 35 sacks this year, Christian. Quarterbacks were getting killed week in and week out on a daily basis, it seemed like there. Just a mess, honestly, offensively. I know a lot of people, Dave Aranda had a lot of hype. Everybody knows that he's a good coach. This wasn't the season. I don't know what happened to Baylor this year. If you wanted to win in the Big 12 this season, play Baylor, you were going to get one. It was terrible. And, 23 points per game just isn't going to get it done. That was 99th in the country, by the way. I know as bad as their offense was, Christian, the defense wasn't elite either. I'll let you touch on their defense.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, Baylor had one of the worst defenses last year, finishing 110th in total defense. They also ended up giving up 35.7 points per game. I mean, that is about as atrocious as it gets. That was 121st in the country out of 130, by the way. Right. Surprisingly, they finished 82nd in passing yards allowed compared to 117th in rushing yards allowed, right? In a league that we know the Big 12 is more historically known for passing. So that was kind of crazy. The low point of the season for the defense was the first game against Texas State, giving up 42 points. The highlight of the season, I have to say, was probably going to be beating UCF, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Here's the thing. Overall grade for him, give me an F. Dave Aranda at one point was one of the hottest coaching names in college football a few years ago. A lot of people thought he might even be, the guy to take over for Saban if he were to retire at Bama. Cut to now, and he's on the hot seat, Chris. He's struggling through a 3-win season in one of the worst conferences in the Power 5.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that. I gave him an F as well, Christian. Just a really disappointing season. When Vegas has you at 8, Baylor did have a lot of talent on this team. They started the season off with that loss to Texas State. It was over from there, man. It was a downhill, basically a snowball effect, if you will.